Extreme winter weather causes a traffic nightmare on I-10. Drivers stranded for more than 14 hours on the highway. And a live look at the highway right now. This is near the hill country right here. You can see that ice just covering the roadway. It almost doesn't look like it's here. And in just minutes, we're going to be live from the scene with the latest on that major backup in Kerrville.
And while they're at a standstill, San Antonio roads, for the most part, looking pretty dry at this hour. But listen, you really need to be careful as you head out and about. It could be spotty in some parts of town, so just slow down, watch out for black ice. Just take your time, you'll get there.
And good morning on this Friday, February 4th. Thanks for joining this special report, an update of our winter storm coverage. I'm Sarah Fergani.
And I'm Barry Davis. We continue to track the storm that we've moved through with team coverage. Meteorologist Jeremy Baker's in Kerrville this morning with the latest on the roads in the hill country, and Alyssa Tea is live in Bexar County with the latest on the state of our power grid. And back in the studio, Holly Stouffer has your eye on the road conditions. If you're traveling this morning, meteorologist Paul Morales is tracking what's ahead with the storm.
Okay.
All right, Paul, what's up?
All right, let's take a look. It's cold. That's probably the headline, is cold temperatures. We're in the 20s with some wind chills in the teens and even colder than that in the hill country. We've got cloudy skies across the area. Those clouds not helping us because it's going to take a while to warm up at all. It is warming slowly. We were down to 21 earlier this morning at the airport. We're now at 26, and we got really close to the record low 18 set back in 1912, but didn't quite reach that. Okay, if you're watching from the counties in purple, for about another 45 minutes or so, we do have a winter weather advisory that's in effect. Mainly, maybe a little bit of some black ice on some of the bridges in the northern part of the county. It's possible. I really think most of the roadways are dry and definitely travelable. You can travel on them, but up into the hill country, that's a totally different story. Once you get to Comfort and once you get to Spring Branch and then northward from there and northwestward, the bridges and overpasses are iced up. Not only that, but some of the roads as well, really in bad shape up there. All right, wind chill, 14 degrees, Randolph's at 13, New Braunfels at about 13, Lackland 16 is what the wind chill is right now. Very cold out there, bundle up. Temperature 26, 25 Randolph, 26 in New Braunfels, and over towards Hondo, 28 degrees. It's cold all across south central Texas. Here's a latest look. Temperatures where all those people are backed up from Junction to Kerrville and Comfort all through here. Temperatures are in the 20s. And look, I want you to look at these wind chills up there where these people have been in those cars for like 14 hours or so. Wind chills way down there in the single digits. I'm going to show you that here in just a second. Winds out of the north at about 20. So it's in the 20s in Kerrville up here. Wind chill though at 10 degrees. That is cold. 14 is what it feels like here. Hallettsville feels like about 12. So you can't escape the cold anywhere across south central Texas. All right, here's what you can expect for today. Cloudy skies this morning. We don't reach the melting point or freezing until 31 or until 1 o'clock. We'll hit 32 degrees, and then finally the afternoon high. We probably won't hit 39. I'm going to go 37 for a high today with some sunshine a little bit later on this afternoon. That'll be late this afternoon. All right, Holly, the roadways for the most part here are good, but boy, hill country, really a problem.
Compared to those folks who are out in the hill country. So across San Antonio right now, the only closure that's related to the weather is all the way up north. The ramps connecting 281 and 1604 are still closed. TxDOT hasn't told us when they plan to reopen that area just yet. And they've also reported ice on northbound 35 at Splashtown that's affecting the entrance ramp. The entrance ramp also affected by ice on 35 north at Eisenhower. Now let's see what's happening out in the hill country. This is from our Trans Guide Cam that's on I-10 at Mountain Home. Mile marker 481, and this stretches all the way to Kerrville at mile marker 503. That's a 20-something mile backup. We've got Jeremy Baker out there live in Kerrville now. Jeremy, what is the cause of this entire mess?
Well, it all started late yesterday afternoon, early yesterday evening. We're told by officers in Kerr County about jackknife tractor trailers, and then they were trying to get those out of the way, and it caused more car accidents, and it just snowballed into this big mess we have right now. And you can see we actually have some good signs here. You see more trucks moving eastbound now. We saw just a few maybe half an hour ago, but now they're slowly moving, unfortunately, westbound. Once you get west of Comfort heading towards Kerrville, that's what you encounter. virtually no movement, a lot of cars and trucks just stuck there, mostly semis. And we did talk to a trucker that was staying in the same hotel we were last night. He was making deliveries, and he said at some point he just had to stop because he couldn't just even get in and out of the driveways.
Delivering groceries for Gordon's Food Service, and tried to attempt to make a delivery tonight, but the roads are just too bad, and the parking lots can't get into. So
what do you think about the cold temperatures?
cold's not that bad. I mean, honestly, if you bundle up for it, it's not that bad. But stay warm.
And there are so many trucks that didn't have a place to go. That's one of them right there by our news car. He was parked alongside Harbor Freight next door, and you can see right above that truck, we have some blue sky. Haven't seen that in a while. Some good signs. Trucks are moving eastbound on 10. We've got some blue sky. Try to avoid I-10 between Kerrville and Junction, even down to Comfort. Things should look better in a few hours, according to Kerr County. Of course, you can check drivetexas.org for the latest conditions on I-10. Live in Kerrville, Jeremy Baker, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
All right, Jeremy, thank you. Some San Antonians complained they were without power for hours and most of the day yesterday. CPS Energy says that's due to down power lines from Thursday's wind knocking down the trees. And for most customers today, power is back on. Only a couple of hundred residents remain without electricity now.
Now, having said that, we're in that time period when CPS says the power grid is expected to take its biggest test since last year's storm. The energy experts we spoke with say they believe it's going to hold up and the state will continue to have power.
And Eyewitness News reporter Alyssa Tejas is joining us now with what to expect next. Alyssa?
Good morning, sir. Well, as you mentioned earlier, CPS Energy says that we saw some of those power outages because of down power lines due to ice accumulation, as well as those heavy winds. Right now, 270 CPS customers are currently without power, but we are in the middle of that peak generation demand. It started at around 6 o'clock this morning and will run around 10 o'clock into the morning as well. Right now, with most of the power outages reported in the north right now. ERCOT's current conditions are normal. Their website shows that there is enough power to meet the demand, although that demand has gone up into the morning. There are some customers, however, CPS customers in Universal City, Elm Creek, and Lucky Ranch. Those areas have experienced some extended outages. In Universal City and Elm Creek, there are multiple trees and lines that crews are having to climb trees to fix because they cannot use their bucket trucks to fix. And in Lucky Ranch, they're experiencing some equipment failure. Crews are on site at each of these sites, and they say it should be prepared by noon today. ERCOT began bringing generation online sooner than it had last year as well. We still have an hour more of that peak generation demand, so we can all do our part to help conserve more energy.
Make sure any lights you're not using are off, any fans, setting your thermostat set points to 67 instead of 72 or something like that. Even if you don't have electric heat, even if you have natural gas heat, you do use a lot of electricity for the blowers to blow that air around your house. And so during that time, if everyone kind of conserves a little bit, I think we can keep the lights on for everyone.
To check the outage map, you can go to CPS Energy's website. There they have all of the outages as well as some warming centers if you need them. But we should be in the clear by 11 o'clock this morning. Reporting from North Bexar County, I'm Alyssa Tejas, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Alyssa. And the weather, not so much of a problem now for San Antonio drivers, but air travel is another story, and not just in San Antonio.
In fact, nationwide, more than 5,000 flights were canceled yesterday, and 2,000 flights have already been canceled for today. Some of the worst issues were at DFW Airport, where all the flights were stopped for hours when the runways iced over. Crews also spent most of the day de-icing planes. And back here locally, all of the Southwest Airlines flights out of San Antonio earlier this morning were canceled, but as the day goes on, it's looking better. American now has some cancellations as well. There are also a good number of canceled arrivals. Airport officials want to remind everyone to please check your flight status before you head to the airport, especially over the next couple of days. And wintry weather is not just here in South Texas this morning.
Yeah, here's a look at how it's affecting the country as a whole. At its height, the system stretched from Texas to Maine with weather alerts and warnings along a roughly 2,300-mile corridor. Ice and snow made the roads virtually impassable in some areas. It's also causing widespread power outages. Indiana deployed its National Guard to assist stranded motorists.
Snow right now is pretty powdery. Sometimes temperatures will rise a little bit, it will melt, and then it'll drop and it'll turn into ice. That's where I think we're really concerned. The ice is the real killer out here.
Now, there were hundreds of crashes reported in several states. A 16-car pileup left 6 people hurt near Memphis.
And near Houston, the storm caused a 10-car pileup on the West Park Tollway. East and westbound lanes were shut down overnight due to the ice in Fort Bend County. Also, emergency crews were called to a 14-car pileup in North Austin. TxDOT immediately responded by de-icing major roadways. And
here was the scene in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Police say they were going around tagging abandoned vehicles stuck on the road with yellow police tape to show that nobody is still inside that car. Here at home, some parts of San Antonio, you know, it was pretty. It looked like a little winter wonderland. A lot of viewers from all over the area sent us pictures of the things that they saw.
Yeah, Marvin Hurst is joining us now with some of those images. And Marvin, it wasn't the heavy snow that we saw last year at this time, but certainly that ice was really thick in some areas, even causing some problems.
Yes, I got a chance to look through some of this user-generated content, as we call it. Got some good and some bad. The ice and wind really did cause some problems around town yesterday. This was the scene over at Topgolf. The ice buildup and strong winds proved to be too much for their safety netting, and crews experienced some first-hand dangers surrounding the power lines and conditions. That's still at Topgolf. We're switching over to another scene. There was some danger around power lines in those conditions. If we have pictures there, that's the one I'm talking about. These pictures were taken by District 7 fire rescue crew yesterday. An electric crew kept on working on the power lines as the firefighters fought that blaze there below them. But things weren't all bad across South Texas. This was a bird bath that turned into a frozen lake for Bridget Willard in the King William area. The Lego lady had her own mini ice cream there. Go, Lego lady, go. Risa Forschner, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, sent us this beautiful photo from her backyard in New Braunfels. She called it a beautiful winter sunset after a crazy day of icy events. Also from her backyard in New Braunfels was this little deer. The deer got out and decided to go prancing on the ice. Little cold hoof there too. A Harper, Texas family found the most creative way to enjoy the snow. I think this is a pretty Texan way to enjoy the snow. Check it out. This video was sent to us by KENS 5 eyewitness Dustis Inman. 2 kids were being pulled by an ATV. What a great way to celebrate snow. To be honest with you, I'm kind of jealous. You can always share your pictures here with us at KENS 5 by going to our KENS 5.
I'm a little jealous too, actually. That was like way too much fun. Marvin, thank you.
All right, thanks, Marvin. Want to go over to, I think, Paul now and get a look at the weather again?
Yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, growing up in North Texas, we used to do stuff like that all the time. All right, this is what I'm expecting for today. Clouds this morning. It's cloudy. It's cold. Bundle up. Later this afternoon, we're going to see some sunshine. Temperatures only, though, in the upper 30s, and that's it. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to go colder than 26. Really cold up in the hill country as well. And tomorrow, we'll see some sunshine, and we'll finally warm up into the upper 40s. Still below normal. Sunday, we're still below average at 54. And look at this, lots of sunshine, no chances for rain, but cool temperatures right into next week. We finally get close to normal mid part of next week. So this is definitely an Arctic air mass, and it's cold. Bundle up, stay warm. Wind chills right now in the 20s.
Well, I think we're all ready for it to move on.
Yep. Governor
Abbott's going to give an update on the state's response to the weather. That's 11 o'clock this morning. You can watch it live on KENS5.com and, of course, on the KENS 5 app.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Our coverage of the Arctic blast continues on Eyewitness News at noon. Great Day SA is up next. Be safe.